In today's show on No Filter Cricket, we would be hitting two areas. One, the baseball mania which England has unleashed, and two, how ex-cricketers in India are criticizing the selection for the test team and they are very unhappy. One, after baseball, Bazbait and Nighthawk, a new phrase has been coined called the Brumbrella. Ben Stokes used six fielders in front of Usman Khwaja in close catching positions. And the excitement continues. Two, Team India selection policy for test matches is under severe scrutiny. India has not won a single ICC tournament since the Champions Trophy win back in 2013. India has lost two WTC finals quite badly. Lack of focus, poor team selection, and a beleaguered coach add to the mayhem. Three, even in the way domestic selections are being made has raised eyebrows. The snub of spinner Jalat Saxena from the South Zone team for the Duleep Trophy has been described as laughable and disappointing. Why? Because he has been the highest wicket taker in this season.
No bench strength, no vision, and appalling lack of sight by the selectors in India. So these are words which have come from former India great Dilip Vengsarkar. My biggest concern was reading about his comments and seeing the way Test cricket is being played in this country, that at one point, till maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we used to tout the fact that, oh, we have this massive bench strength, we can play more than one team. Sometimes we said that even the India A team is as good to take on anyone in the world. CS, first opening reaction from you before we delve deeper and deeper into this. In a nutshell, why have we gone so horribly wrong?
But are we really serious about red ball cricket? That's my only question. And I have serious doubts, under Jay Shah or Roger Binney. Test cricket, our preparation or our approach, that is, I don't think we are on the right track. Because if that is the case, then how could a, just general manager, GM of Bihar Cricket Association could actually sit in a selection committee meeting of Duleep Trophy? And remember, everybody in India knows that Duleep Trophy is the last gateway, on your way to for any cricketer to reach the test level. And Duleep Trophy, if we are, approaching, or if we are, treating Duleep Trophy with such, vulgarity, I would say, where GMs are sitting there instead of selectors, then there are serious question marks over it. And this gentleman was selecting team for East Zone. And from East Zone, we always know there are 2 or 3 players always there in the Indian team. So when we talk about approach, then Arup, we have to understand that what Dilip Vengsarkar is saying is perfectly all right, because he was the last chief selector who had that spine, when we talk about the selection, manners. He was the last one whom was given a lot of, I would say, power from Mr. Sharad Yadav, while it was, managing the Mumbai cricket or managing the Indian cricket. And under his, selection, time when he was the chief selector, it was Virat Kohli, all these people who came into the limelight, Rohit Sharma, everybody. So somewhere, he was a good scout. And don't forget that under his chairmanship, when he was the talent research, research, TRDO, we made a team for TRDO, and he was heading. And during that tenure of his, about 10 years or so, there were a lot of people who came into the limelight. And what you are saying, that we used to have 2 or 3 teams for Test cricket, it was during Vengsarkar's time. Then we had that much of bench strength. Now, right now, we have bench strength for, IPL or for one-day cricket, even
yes,
not for one day.
Let me cut back to the present, because we are praising Dilip Vengsarkar, and we should. A man who hit 3 centuries at Lords should be revered, and one of the greats of Indian cricket, a superb batter, and also, like you said, a man who had spine as BCCI president. My most surprising takeaway is that ever since people like Saurav Ganguly and Rahul Dravid have come into the frame, have they lost the spine, or has BCCI lost its own spine in choosing, making the right selections. So those are larger questions which one can discuss also in the show. But again, going back to Vengsarkar, he made a very specific remark. He said that for a parallel tour till about 2 years back, you chose Shikhar Dhawan as the captain. He was appalled. He was aghast that this is the time when you use such a tour to groom someone new. Why Shikhar Dhawan?
Absolutely. You know, why Shikhar Dhawan? He's a lost cause completely. And Shikhar's prime is, behind him. And he's the one who has been, making all sorts of efforts to reach the Indian Test team. But that is not been, been recognized by our selectors. And we have to understand then when we are talking about, grooming new players or the grooming new captain post Virat Kohli or now Rohit Sharma. And now the next cycle is coming up. Arup, you have to understand that is defeat ke baad, next 2 years we'll play a new cycle of WTC. So new cycle mean whatever you are doing right now, जो next one month or next tour होगा, वो यही होगा कि आपकी 2 साल के बाद आप फाइनल जब खेल रहे होंगे सपोज और ये पूरी टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप खेल रहे होंगे, आपका कप्तान होगा कौन होगा, आपका नंबर 4 कौन होगा, नंबर 5 कौन होगा. We have serious doubts about post Chiteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rane. They both were dropped, if you remember, पिछली cycle में. लेकिन both have made a comeback because there is no alternate. There is nobody in the Indian Test arena right now who could actually take their places. So that's been मैं कहूँगा ये सबसे sorrow state होती है for any cricketing nation. And look at the Ashes, how they have been, playing right now. Were we the same kind of team playing the finals? I would say no. We were the poor finalists, and the way we lost it after, we could not bat first on a green top pitch, which was obviously a batting friendly pitch. We lost the toss. We won the toss and we lost the game.
Let's come to Ashwin, because one of the graphics just played, and basically the graphic indicated that Ashwin has been very angry. He has said that there is a plot to undermine me. He says the overthinker label was stuck to me, and there was a definite plot to undermine me by certain seniors. They never wanted of India, and this is coming from one of India's finest Test cricketers, finest bowlers. A man who has improvised, and he recently gave an interview to a newspaper where he said at the age of 36, around that time, I changed my action. Many people would have thought I was crazy, but it became better. So I was willing to take the risk. So if you do not give me any comfort about what my role will be, then this is bound to happen. CS, we have both discussed Ashwin in the past. We both admire him. And not just us, there are lakhs of Indian cricketers and the fans who really adore Raviashwin. First of all, why is Ashwin saying this at the age of 36 in an open interview? There is a likelihood of a bigger pushback coming his way. And second, is he disgusted? Is he just saying that, अब छोड़ो यार बहुत हो गया, जो भी होना था, that's enough? आज तो उन्होंने बल्कि एक और न्यूज़ रिपोर्ट थी कि उन्होंने कहा कि मेरे फादर हार्ट पेशेंट हैं, उनके फोन आते रहते हैं, आई एम वेरी वरीड अबाउट हिम, ही फील्स ट्रॉमेटाइज्ड. सो व्हाई इज दिस हैपनिंग टू Ashwin?
Ashwin, as he has said, everybody feels that he's overthinker, and I also have my own information or whatever that he's a good thinker. He's not an overthinker. He's a good thinker. And in between his career, about 5, 6, 7 years back, people actually started, or the South people, I would say, South lobby started projecting him as the next captain. So Dhoni was hurt with this चीज, or probably after that Virat Kohli, and there was I would not say कि पूरी साजिश हुई या किस तरह से हुई, लेकिन अश्विन के अचीवमेंट्स को अंडरमाइन किया गया. There is no doubt about that. और just close your eyes, और किसी कहते हैं ना अंधे से भी आप पूछिए कि दूसरी टीम में आपके पास 5 लेफ्ट हैंडेड है, तो आप क्या उनको लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर खिलाएंगे जो कि उनके लिए ऑफ स्पिनर बनेगा, या उनको राइट आर्म ऑफ स्पिनर खिलाएंगे जो उनके लिए लेग स्पिनर बन जाएगा? तो कोई भी अंधा भी ये कहेगा कि बॉस ये क्या सिली क्वेश्चन आप पूछ रहे हो, ऑब्वियसली आप राइट आर्म ऑफ स्पिनर खिलाएंगे. तो इंडिया ने क्या सोचा, और राहुल द्रविड़, मेरे को गुस्सा किस चीज पर आता है? गुस्सा ये है कि देयर इज सो कॉल्ड, आई एम यूजिंग दिस पर्पसली, there is so called a legend sitting there in the dressing room Either he should resign कि उसकी नहीं चल रही है, और अगर उसकी चल रही है तो how could he think so, मतलब कि ऐसा कौन सोच सकता है? Rahul Dravid is a legend. There is no doubt. I mean, there are so many other things. He was captain of Rajasthan Royals when this entire spot fixing happened. He was never questioned. That's another thing. But the point is, if on pure cricketing terms, he's a legend. He was a great batsman, and knowing his abilities or his capacity as a chief coach, how could he recommend somebody like left arm spinner like Ravindra Jadeja? You have to play Ravindra, play him, no. But why at the cost of Ravichandran Ashwin? You are playing, other pacers when Bumrah was not there. Was that a pitch for three pacers? I don't think so. If you had three good spinners, you have to play all three good spinners. It is not a question of India. अपनी strength पर खेलना चाहिए था. हमने मैच कहाँ पर खो दिया? हमने अश्विन को ड्रॉप करते हुए, हमने पिच को समझने में, चाहे वो विराट कोहली हो, चाहे रोहित शर्मा हो, चाहे वो राहुल द्रविड़ हो, इन सबको मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेनी चाहिए. ये वहां क्या कर रहे हैं? ये अंदर 3 हाथी घुसे हुए हैं कमरे में, और उस कमरे को तहस-नहस कर दिया इन्होंने. मतलब my problem is that somebody has to ask them. There should be an inquiry. Who took this decision of dropping Ashwin, number one, and then taking fielding first?
Yes, another very quick one on this topic, which is that I had read somewhere, and this was quite discussed in the media also, that when Virat Kohli was captain, towards the fag end of his captaincy, there were reports that Ashwin had officially complained to the BCCI about Virat's behavior, about certain other issues. If he has complained, then has he been made to pay for it?
मैं आपको इससे पहले भी कह रहा था, even during Dhoni's time, there were problems with Ashwin. I mean, I don't know whether this, to be frank, I don't know whether this official complaint was made or not. But yes, I do understand from so many my sources in BCCI, in Tamil Nadu, in other, cricket associations, that yes, there were problems between captains and Ashwin. Ashwin always believed, or he was made to believe, that he's a captain material. Even I feel so. I mean, at one point of time, not now. तो उसके बाद जो प्रॉब्लम हुई, उसको इन्होंने सहा, वो डेलिब्रेट था या नहीं था, आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट दैट. बट यस, ही वाज मेड टू पे, as he was a good thinker, as he was not under the influence of anybody. He was not a yes man in the dressing room. You have to understand. And even Anil Kumble before him, when he was not the captain, he was never been a yes man. But yes, Anil Kumble was always heard. Ashwin was never heard.
Right. Let's hop on to our umpire Nitin Menon, because he again has dropped another bombshell which needs a quick reaction. So who is Nitin Menon? Nitin Menon is one of our major, he's a major presence in the ICC elite umpires list. He has officiated so far in 15 tests, 24 ODIs and 20 T20 internationals. And he's joined the ICC elite panel, which is a tremendous achievement. Again, in a recent interview, he says, he talks about pressure, and he says, I have become a good umpire because of the pressure put on me. Leading the Indian international panel of umpires at home is a big responsibility. The last 3 years have helped me a lot. But he does make a very oblique reference to the fact that there are certain senior players who, when playing in India, apply a lot of pressure. And he says that he has undergone that pressure, and it is an unfair pressure applied. Now, for a youngish umpire to suddenly come out and make this statement, and you're smiling, say yes. So, kya kehna chahenge?
Because this happens, a lot in Ranji Trophy, especially. There is a match. I mean, after match, there is a about match and about umpiring. Both umpires, both captains of both teams, they file a separate report about umpiring, about overall conditions they faced, or during the conduct, or about the conduct of the match. सो अगर कप्तान आप हैं और अगर आपको एलबीडब्ल्यू दिया है अनफेयर, थोड़ा सा भी कहीं पर डाउटफुल दिया है, तो आपकी रिपोर्ट ठीक नहीं जाएगी. अंपायर्स इस बात का आज ही नहीं, 2006, 2004 आई रिमेम्बर, ये तभी से कंप्लेन करते थे कि बॉस प्रेशर बहुत है, बिकॉज वी यूज्ड टू सिट टुगेदर इन ए डोमेस्टिक गेम और बात करते थे बाद में, यार वो दैट वाज ए क्लोज गेम, आपने उसको आउट नहीं दिया, उसको ऐसा नहीं, तो यही कहते थे बॉस, इफ देयर इज इवन ए फ्रैक्शन ऑफ डाउट इन आवर माइंड, हम कप्तान को नहीं देते, बिकॉज वी आर अंडर ट्रेमेंडस प्रेशर. एंड दिस वाज हर जगह पे ये होता था. नाउ इन द डोमेस्टिक गेम्स व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, इवन इफ there are neutral umpires right now. लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी न्यूट्रल इन द सेंस वन न्यूट्रल एक इंडियन भी खड़ा कर देंगे. तो जब डोमेस्टिक में आप यहाँ पर खेलते हैं, खासकर इंडिया में सीरीज खेलते हैं, सेम प्रेशर अप्लाइज देयर बिकॉज ऑफ द क्राउड प्रेशर वन, एंड ऑल्सो एज ए होस्ट नेशन ऑब्वियसली तुम्हें पता है कि तुम्हें एलीट में भेजा, रिव्यू भी होगा, ये सब कुछ चलेगा. एंड बीइंग काइंड ऑफ इंडिया डोमिनेशन राइट नाउ इन द वर्ल्ड क्रिकेट, दे ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर अरे भाई जूनियर शाह जी के पास कोई रिपोर्ट चलेगी, किसी आपको मालूम है ड्यूरिंग कौन थे विनोद राय के टाइम में जब देयर वाज ए ग्रेट फाइट बिटवीन अनिल कुंबले और विराट कोहली, तो विनोद राय जी किसके साथ थे? वो तो विराट के साथ थे, तो उन्होंने विराट को तरजीह दी और कुंबले को साइड कर दिया. तो ये जो अनसेड प्रेशर्स हैं, इससे आपको कहीं ना कहीं दो राय होने, मतलब कि दो राय नहीं रख सकते आप कि उन पर प्रेशर रहेगा. बट नितिन, लेट मी टेल यू, I have not seen anyone like him for in last 2 decades or so. After Saurabh Kishan, after couple of Venkat Raghavan, he was a good umpire. But right now he's the finest umpire India has, and obviously there are 2-3 more umpires, but he's the finest of the all.
That's good to know. We'll end this segment with a quick reference to Venkatesh Prasad, who made this very interesting quote about Jalaj Saxena, who was not taken for the Duleep Trophy, and he was dropped by the South Zone team, despite being the highest wicket taker this season. And Venki says, there are many laughable things happening in Indian cricket. The highest wicket taker in Ranji not being picked even for the South Zone team is as baffling as it gets, and what a shame. And Jalaj's Saxena's record is very, very impressive, which we will show up in our graphics. So CS, while closing this particular topic, why wasn't he picked? Because you've played at this level, and why wasn't he picked? And what is the thought process that goes on?
There are two ways, of looking at it. Jalaj is a senior player; he is not anyone upcoming player. So there is a thought process, obviously, but not at this level. Thought process होता है आपका chief selectors of Indian cricket and all those 5. Wise men, I would say, or the fools, whatever. When they sit, then they chalk out a plan कि हमें next 2 years, जैसे I was talking about कि WTC के लिए जाना है 2 साल, अब आपके पास है. आपका कप्तान कौन होगा, आपका नंबर 4 कौन होगा, आपके जो पेस बॉलर, if at all बुमराह और even हार्दिक is not playing test cricket, अगर वो नहीं खेलते तो आपके किस तरह से क्रिकेट में आपको रिप्लेस करना है. But at this level, when you are the highest wicket taker, I'm sure you are a automatic pick for the South Zone or any zone, unless and until ऊपर से आपको directions आई हो कि please Jalaj Saxena is quite senior, we have seen him, he is not a India material, उस पर time waste मत कीजिए. But I have never come across anything like this in the domestic one. Domestic में ऊपर से ऐसे वो नहीं आते. हाँ, आपके एक larger picture होती है कि इस लड़के को, ये कोई एक नया लड़का है, इसको हम देखना चाहते हैं, please pick him. वो उस तरह का तो आता है. लेकिन एक हाईएस्ट विकेट टेकर, वेदर इज 37 और 38 और कोई भी बैट्समैन, इवन इफ ही इज 40, वो उसका ऑटोमेटिक पिक हो जाता है. और उसके बाद उसको ठीक है, इंडिया के लिए नहीं कंसीडर करते. लेकिन LNCP इज वन एग्जांपल, और वो कौन थे, मुंबई के बाकी के कई प्लेयर्स ऐसे थे जो लास्ट तक खेलते रहे जोनल टीम्स में. तो दिस इज क्वाइट शॉकिंग. बट अगेन, दिस इज न्यू क्रिकेट under new regime, and this regime is not actually serious about the test cricket or future of Indian red ball cricket.
Okay, we'll park that thought there and let's move on to where red ball cricket is being celebrated, and what a time we are having in the Ashes 2023. In fact, the decider day is today, later on, and of the first test. What a magnificent test match, the way England and Australia have fought. But we'll focus on baseball. We have, CS and I have earlier chatted on baseball, but this has got even more interesting. So CS, the first thing about baseball, which was discussed a lot, was the first day declaration that their main centurion was still at the crease, but Ben Stokes, Joe Root was playing with 100 plus, and Ben Stokes said that, okay, hell with it, I declare and I get out. So that was the first instance, and that is still being debated whether he should have declared or not. I felt it was a great declaration because it is so competitive. Reminded me of Vaughan, who said, why do you need those 40-50 runs for? What is there? If you can't play with this, then there's nothing left. Over to you, CS.
देखो अरूप, अगर आप कहते हैं ना 90 ओवर्स में जिस तरह की स्पीड पे ये रन बना रहे थे, यू नो, उस 4.5 और 4 इस एवरेज से, तो आपके इनफ स्कोर था। इट वाज नॉट ए स्कोर के आपको ज्यादा सोचना पड़ता। और दूसरा, दो जो वेदर का फोरकास्ट था, देयर वाज जो थर्ड और फोर्थ डे था, उसमें वेदर फोरकास्ट था इवन सेकंड के लेट में भी, कि वहां पर बारिश होनी है। तो दे न्यू दैट दे आर गोइंग टू लूज सम ऑफ द टाइम। और दूसरा, इनकी आजकल की जो फिलॉसफी है दिस बास्केटबॉल के, वो है एवरी डे शुड बी ए न्यू टीम। तो एक दिन खेलिए, अपना टीम को उसको पुश कीजिए रन्स को, और थोड़ा सा वक्त शायद वेदर के जैसी चीजों के लिए भी दीजिए, और पांचवें दिन में आपका डिसाइडर होना चाहिए, विच इज a good approach. There is no doubt about that. But the point is, when obviously, when a situation like this comes, when you are so, touch and go situation, 180 के आसपास है और 7 विकेट है, then you think about all these things, because बारिश के बावजूद भी जो एकदम विकेट्स गिरे, जिस तरह से मैच डिसाइड हुआ, सेकंड इनिंग्स इंग्लैंड की थोड़ी लो चली, उसके बाद ओवरकास्ट कंडीशंस में आप ये सब सोचने पे मजबूर होते हैं। बट ओवरऑल आई थिंक इट वाज a very very healthy declaration, and everybody appreciated at that point of time.
That's excellent. So let's move on to this new phrase, and we'll show you on our graphics this picture of brumbrella. Now, there was a time when the brumbrella was a huge umbrella used on the field to protect the players, etc. Now, this brumbrella is now become a catchphrase when Ben Stokes deployed 6 fielders in front of Usman Khwaja at the Edgbaston, and it has become a topic of massive discussion. He also did it in the second innings. And in fact, some of the expert commentators were saying that this is used in teenage cricket, but it is now being used as part of baseball. So, CS, क्या कहना है आपको?
आपने मेरा मेन डायलॉग छीन लिया। मैं एक्चुअली यही बताने वाला था कि जब हम ये गली मोहल्ला, थोड़ा सा छोटे ग्राउंड्स, क्योंकि शिमला में हम खेलते थे, छोटे ग्राउंड्स थे, तो जब वहां खेलते थे तो ये वहां का फील्ड प्लेसमेंट था कि नया बैट्समैन है, एंड स्पेशली समबडी हु इज नॉट गुड एट हिटिंग द बॉल, तो उसके सामने खड़े कर दिया और उसको प्रेशर में ला करके ऊपर से, या तो हमारे ऊपर से मार, और या फिर कैच पकड़ा दे, तो उस तरह की सिचुएशन। बट आई वाज अमेज्ड, अगर कोई पहले दिन, और खासकर इट वाज अगेंस्ट उस्मान ख्वाजा हु वाज ए सेंचुरियन एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, 130 कुछ पे खेल रहे थे जब उनके अगेंस्ट ये फील्ड को पहली बार प्लेस किया गया। पहली नजर में कोई मुझसे पूछता उस टाइम, तो मैं कहता पागल हो गया ये बेन स्टोक्स, क्योंकि ज्यादा दिमाग चला रहे हैं। बट द पॉइंट इज, आपने उनको रेटल कर दिया। I was so amazed, I was so surprised, Arup. I was actually watching it live at that point of time. I was so surprised कि उस्मान ख्वाजा क्यों प्रेशर में आ गए। 131 के आसपास पे उनको पहली बार ऐसी फील्ड दी, वो किस बात के प्रेशर में आया? उनके लिए इट वाज सो इजी, और बॉल को भी अगर आप देखें तो बहुत क्लासिक ढंग से खिला रहे थे, 2 बम्पर से एक या 2 आगे, और इस तरह से टेस्ट कर रहे थे। उनके लिए इट वाज सो इजी कि इनको पास कर दें ओवर देयर हेड्स, और पीछे तो बाउंड्रीज ही लगनी थी। So, I mean, anyway, but this pressure worked. In the hindsight, I would say that I was probably, a fool rather. कि मैं कह रहा हूँ कि ये पागल हो गए, ये पागल नहीं. It was a good mental, I would say, battle in between the ground. Maybe उसके बाद उस्मान ख्वाजा next time आए और उनके साथ ये हो, तो maybe he'll hit another 50 runs. उस 2-3 ओवर में. But the point is, at that point of time, they were able to rattle him. They were able to get him out, and not just out, they bowled him. It was not a great delivery, but yes, he was under pressure. He missed that delivery.
So that's wonderful for Test cricket, and thank God for Test cricket, and thank God for the Ashes. We really appreciate what Ben Stokes and the Aussies are doing currently. We'll leave it at that, but जाने से पहले CS on the lighter side, एक फ्रेज नया आया है जो मेरे लिए नया है, नाइट हॉक। अब नाइट हॉक क्या करता है? नाइट हॉक है जैसे स्टुअर्ट ब्रॉड हैं, उनको आप प्रमोट कर देते हैं, और उनके लिए इंस्ट्रक्शन होता है, यू स्विंग फॉर द फेंसेस, जितने चौके छक्के आप मार सके मारिए, एंड डिसोरिएंट द ओपोनेंट्स। और अपने जमाने की याद आ जाती है, हालांकि मैं भी 80 साल का नहीं हुआ हूँ, लेकिन वो जो नाइट वॉचमैन आता था कांपता हुआ, किसी तरीके से एक लोअर एंड बॉलर को भेज देते थे ये लोग। So वो ज़माना लग गया है. So instead of the night watchman, you now have the night hawk. And so let's enjoy all these innovations in Test cricket, because it does make for
बीच में पिंच हिटर भी आया था, रूप बीच में पिंच हिटर भी आया था, उसमें भी यही कोशिश की थी। श्रीनाथ कई बार आते थे, बहुत ज्यादा आते थे कि जाइए और थोड़ा हिट कीजिए। प्रॉब्लम यही है कि जब तक आपकी आपकी स्ट्रेटेजी चल रही है वो ठीक है, आकर के जल्दी आउट होते, देन द प्रॉब्लम इज देयर फॉर द फॉर द बैटिंग टीम, कि उनको उसके बाद फिर से मेन बैट्समैन को लाना पड़ेगा. यू कांट हैव नाइट वॉचमैन और पिंच हिटर और नाइट हॉक्स, वॉट एवर द न्यू नेम इज, एक के बाद एक नहीं हो सकता. सो दैट्स द ओनली थिंग. एनीवे, बट आई ऑलवेज बिलीव दैट नाइट वॉचमैन वर मोर फन, क्योंकि उसके बाद वो अम्ब्रेला लगता था. और इमरान खान, इफ यू रिमेंबर पाकिस्तान सीरीज 79 और वॉट एवर, और इमरान खान सरफराज चले हुए हैं और बिशन सिंह बेदी, उसके आसपास पूरा अम्ब्रेला, और what a sight, it used to be for cricket lovers.
Absolutely. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, CS. And we'll again come back with some more interesting topics. For now, enjoy the Ashes. And that is as if it's really saving Test cricket from oblivion. Good luck and absolute power to the ECB and the Aussie Cricket Board. And we really hope that the BCCI wakes up and also promotes our Test team. We do have some great players. तो कुछ कीजिए ताकि ये ऐसे कमेंट्स और ऐसे शो हमें न करने पड़े. But thank you for watching. We'll be back with much more.